Hi everyone, yasas kefalotiri to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today we're going to be making a Greek comfort food classic that can be put together in 30 minutes from start to finish. So it's a perfect meal for a busy weeknight. The whole family is going to love this, and leftovers are always welcome. So I suggest that you make a double or maybe even a triple batch. This stuff is so good. Let's get started. I forgot to tell you what we're making. We're making Macaronia me Kima. So Macaronia me Kima basically translates to spaghetti with meat sauce. Very similar to an Italian bolognese sauce. It's so good. So simple to make. I love to have it on hand. I've made this in the past earlier in the YouTube channel, and I've tweaked it a little bit, so this sauce tastes so much better. I had to share my updated recipe with you guys. Let's get started. So the recipe starts off with an onion. I'm using a red onion, but you could use a regular yellow onion. Go ahead and finely chop that and add it to a saucepan with some olive oil. I'm very generous with the olive oil, so at least 1/4 cup. You can go more or less. A little pinch of salt. Cook the onions until they're nice and soft and golden, and then go ahead and add 4 or 5 garlic cloves that have been finely grated. Warm them through until they're nice and fragrant, and then at this point you can go ahead and add the ground beef. I'm adding 2 pounds of ground beef. This is like an 80-20. You can use lean beef if you prefer. You could even do this with ground up poultry. It's up to you, but traditionally it's made with ground beef. Go ahead and warm that beef through until all the pink disappears, and then season it with some salt, black pepper, a teaspoon of paprika. Paprika really just adds color. There's hardly any flavor with it. A little bit of crushed red pepper flakes if you like heat. And then the secret ingredient that really takes it to the next level is some ground cinnamon. Now my kids normally don't like cinnamon, but in this it just comes out so good. You just put as much cinnamon as you like. So start off with 1/4 teaspoon. You can go all the way up to 1/2 teaspoon, but taste as you go and add it in the end if you want more, so that way it's not too much for your liking. Then go ahead and add a 15-ounce can of either diced tomatoes or crushed tomatoes. Did I say salt and pepper? Of course, salt and pepper to your liking. 1 teaspoon is my general rule of thumb of salt, and about 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper. Go ahead and cook that over a medium heat. I would say for about 20 minutes or so. I like to increase the heat towards the end, and as soon as those tomatoes and onions have almost melted into the sauce, then you know that it is ready. You know that the sauce is done once most of the liquid is gone and there's just that delicious oil left over. Then what you're going to want to do is mash that all up so all of those tomatoes are mashed up and gone. Then I like to add a teaspoon of dried oregano. You can use thyme instead if that's your preference. Then I went ahead and I finely chopped about 1/4 cup of fresh parsley. Put that in because that's going to add lots of freshness. And at this point you want to thin the sauce out. You can eat the sauce just as is if you want to put it in like a pita, or just eat it over pasta if you like sauce to be nice and thick. But I like to thin mine out because it needs some sauce to it. I am making spaghetti with this, so it needs to have a little bit of a sauce. So I like to add some water and boil that so that way all of the flavors come together. And you add as much water as you like to make it as thin or as thick as you like. Give the sauce a taste. Add some more salt and pepper if it needs it. And that's it. The sauce is ready once it has reached your desired consistency. Take it off of the heat, and then you can go ahead and boil the pasta while you're making the sauce. It takes about 20 minutes to boil pasta anyway. It almost takes the same amount of time to make the sauce that it does to boil the pasta. Just bring a big pot of water to a boil. Once it boils, go ahead and add about 2 teaspoons of salt to it, a pack of your favorite pasta. I usually like to serve this with linguine, but spaghetti is what I have today. My package says to boil it for about 12 to 15 minutes. I like to stop at the 10 or 11 minute mark. I go ahead and I drain most of the water out. I leave some water in the pot, about I would say 1/2 to 1 cup of water in there. It keeps the pasta from sticking together, and I don't know, that's something that I do that I've been doing always. And then I go ahead and I add some salt to the pasta and lots of butter, as much butter as you like. If you don't like butter, you can do olive oil instead. Go ahead and toss that pasta all together, and now it's time to serve. When it comes to serving this, I like to put the pasta in the bowl, and then I grate some cheese on top of it. Your favorite cheese, you could use Parmesan here, caseri cheese, graviera, or gruyere, whatever cheese you like. You put it on top of the pasta, then the meat sauce, and then more cheese, and now it's time for the taste test. So comforting, so aromatic. The meat sauce smells so good, you guys. You won't believe it until you try it. Exact measurements are on the website www.dimitrasdishes.com. You could use this meat sauce to make pasticcio, moussaka, lasagna, anything you like. So it freezes well. If you're going to make more, like a double or a triple batch, take out whatever you're going to be serving, and the rest, once it comes to room temperature, you can put it in airtight containers and it will stay fresh in your freezer up to 3 months. You can't beat that. It's a great thing to have on hand. I hope you guys give it a try. Let me know what you think, and if you have any recipe requests, post them down below. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, us.